Obsession, directed by Curry Baker, another example of a YouTuber turned horror director, tells the story of a young man who wishes his crush would love him more than anyone else in the world, and only for that wish to come true and have dire consequences. I've been hearing about Obsession non-stop since it was first shown to critics. Several people that I follow regularly were calling it one of the best horror movies of the decade before it even released. This is a claim we hear almost on a yearly basis, with critics becoming more hyperbolic with each new horror release. We saw it last year with Weapons, and it seems as though Obsession has been given this title for 2026 already. They may have annoyed me a bit in the moment, but I was still excited to see what Curry Baker had in store for us with his feature-length debut. While I'm definitely not in the camp that claims it to be a masterpiece, Obsession is one of the freshest takes on the genre I've seen in quite some time. Despite this being Baker's feature-length debut, he already has a firm grasp on what his directional voice sounds like, and it is oozing from every frame of Obsession. He feels completely in control behind the camera, something that a lot of young filmmakers struggle with right out of the gate. There are several moments here that would feel ambitious for even the most seasoned of horror directors, let alone someone with as little experience as Baker. This is most evident in the film's script and narrative, tackling issues of consent and emotional manipulation in ways I've never seen before. Baker uses the narrative trope of the monkey's paw, a wish gone wrong, to portray the selfishness and cowardice of the men who perpetrate these kinds of actions, how little agency they give to the women that they feel owe them romantic reciprocation. Obsession was not afraid to show the ugly truth behind these topics, but was never insensitive or exploitative in any way. I felt that the filmmakers tackled these issues from a perspective that was incredibly nuanced and incredibly pissed off on behalf of the victims. Baker really had something to say with his debut feature, whilst also providing an incredibly disturbing and entertaining horror experience. Indy Navrate has also been one of the major talking points with this movie, and I totally understand why. Her performance is what anchors the entire film, as her character is forced into a situation she never asked for and is acting in a manner that is out of her control. Her ability to go from soft-spoken, quiet terror to flying off the rails at a moment's notice really took me off guard. Her range seemed limitless in what she was able to accomplish here. She makes for one of the most interesting horror characters we've had in a really long time. I also really loved Michael Johnston as Bear. I felt that he portrayed the cowardness and unwillingness to communicate that was necessary to pull off this kind of character. And I loved how the deeper he got himself into this situation, the more we got to see the selfish and more evil part of him come out. Along with being a horror thrill ride, Obsession is also quite funny. It should come as no surprise that Baker got his start in sketch comedy, as there were several moments throughout the film that had me bursting out laughing. On the topic of the humor though, I did feel like it was out of place at some points. There were a few moments that I felt should have been presented as serious, that took things in a sillier direction, and the jokes just kind of fell flat on their face. Injecting humor into a disturbing horror movie is nothing new, but Obsession took it a bit far in some places, and it made for somewhat of a tonal imbalance. It's not going to necessarily break the immersion for you, but there were just a couple of moments where I was going, oh, okay, we didn't really need a joke there. Oh, I don't know why they chose to go the funny route with this when they should have played this very serious, because I think it would have hit with much more of an impact. It would have gave more of a scare, and I felt like they left a couple opportunities off the table to, again, really terrify its audience once more. Outside of those minor issues, though, Obsession is one of the most exciting debut features we've had in quite some time. Curry Baker announced himself as a voice in modern horror, and I'm glad to see this movie getting as much buzz and as much recognition as it is. While I may, again, not be in the camp that's like, this is one of the best horror movies of the decade so far, I'm head over heels for this, I'm not quite there with it yet, but I do see that potential here. I did really enjoy my time, and I'm going to give Obsession a strong 4 out of 5. So yeah, another really great horror movie that's 2 in a row, this and Hokum, and we're only getting, there's more horror shit coming out this year, so definitely a great year for me since I'm a big horror nerd and have been wanting the genre to be, be as consistently great as some of the other genres, and I just felt like we would only get one Obsession a year, and then it'd be a bunch of shit. And I feel like this year we're starting to see more and more horror movies actually be really good. So that's exciting. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this review. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of Obsession in the comments down below. And I will see you with the next review. Thank you so much for watching.